Out here for a jog around Western Sydney parklands, affectionately known as Lizard Log. There's plenty of wildlife. Kangaroos. It's pretty cool. There's a few up on the hill. There's another there. Another one just hiding behind the tree. It's nice. Right here in the heart of Western Sydney. How cool. The Parklands Trail Running Festival is on here in Western Sydney next week, so at the end of September. And there are courses, I think, all the way from a 10k course up to the 32, which is the distance I'll be doing. So I've come out here to what's known as Lizard Log Park in Western Sydney Parklands. Going to have a look at the trails. There is a course out, but I'm not familiar with the park. I've only been here once before, so I'm just going to have a bit of a familiar jog today, have a look around, get an idea of some of the trails, and hopefully it makes a bit more sense next week. But yeah, let's have a little tour. One thing that is really neat out here is just all the kangaroos. It's great to be able to run when you're pretty much still in urban Sydney and get that bit of nature. They're all checking me out. All right. So the information that I've been able to find online talks about these Western Sydney parklands having over 70 kilometres of trails. And I've been here, done 2Ks, and I definitely believe that. In saying that, it's a sort of multi-use path, so there's a lot of families out walking, there's definitely lots of people cycling as well. So I think when we talk trails, I can definitely see some off to the sides, which look like sort of more fire trail, nothing technical, but most of what I'm looking at is cycleways, pathways. So this seems to be the kind of norm, at least for what I've seen so far. So there's nice cycleways, so certainly for next week, unless I see something too different, yeah, I'm definitely thinking maybe just wear the regular road shoes as opposed to trail shoes. Yeah, here's a cyclist now. The amenities out here are also excellent. There's toilets, there's barbecue areas, there's shaded picnic areas, pretty much dotted all over the park, and they look really, really well maintained. The park's also got really, really good signage, so even though I'm exploring and don't really know where I'm going today and actually don't really care because I just want to have a look around, everywhere you look there's great signage with directions, distances, so once you get the hang of it, you can have a lot of fun out. And that's what I'm referring to right there. So you got things like the Dairy Cow Pasture Road, Moonrise Loop, the Parklands Track, the Lizard Log Park. Here, like one of these leads straight onto what's obviously a grass track. So that's good, so you can actually get some trails in. And then, yeah, it's a real junction point. So we've got a trail there, got another one going up the hill there, and then we've got this one here, which I'm gonna follow right now. This is beautiful. I wouldn't even know I was in Sydney anymore. It's great. It's just like being out in the bush. Love it. It's travelled about 4k so far, but I'm just looking here where there's a connection with the back of some urban development. I'm like, imagine having this in your backyard. How cool, huh? little dam down here. Everything is so well maintained. Plenty of bird life around there. Big old tree, if that could tell some stories. Imagine that's been here for a while. And I can hear magpies, so I need to be careful on this next bit. Well, I've just stepped through some really good fencing. I can see some sheep grazing, so I'm kind of thinking I'm off the path at this point. So I might have to turn around and head back. Well, I can see from this sign that this is Carmsley Hill City Farm that I just stepped into, so probably somewhere you might have to book or whatnot, I assume. So yeah, I might just take a quick loop around a couple of streets and head back out onto the track. It's a little hard to make out. I'm trying to get as close as I can, but I've got a feeling that's either a hawk or an eagle up there, particularly the way it's circling. It's always big. It's really, really, really high. And just circling over this, so you can see how high it is, so zoom back. Yeah, so it's circling over this dam and it's looking for its kill. Wow, that is very cool. It's huge. Now this is what I like when I go exploring. I found something really cool. So just off this main path, couldn't help but notice this literal little goat track that goes up next to the really well-defined fence line of the farm. So I'm gonna go take an explore, see where this goes. Let's see. It's looking cool already. Oh, this is neat. Here we go. It's off to the right. I think this is going to be something pretty special. Let's check it out. Almost there. Wherever this is leading me, I absolutely think it's going to be worth the climb. This looks cool. Oh wow. Oh wow, this was worth it. Now I'll give you a look at what I'm looking at. Okay, so it's brought me up to another track on top of the hill, but what a view. Get this though. So looking south, down to Liverpool over there. So I would say that area we're looking at is probably the back of Fairfield, Bonnie Rig. Over there, I'm not too familiar with the skyline these days with those taller buildings. That is probably Liverpool or Bankstown, probably Liverpool. But then as we scan around, I'll pan back so you can see the parklands. But then over there on the horizon, this is the cool bit. So we got the city of Sydney skyline. If you look really carefully, you should be able to catch the Harbour Bridge. So there we go, look at that. Sydney, Harbour Bridge over there, North Sydney to the left. Oh, this is so worth it. This is so worth it. And from here, oh, it's got to be 40 odd kilometres away. Yeah, I'd say about 40. It's probably fair. It wouldn't be any less than 35. So just exceptional view. Wow, worth the climb. This is why it always pays to go exploring and not just stick to the main tracks. Hopefully we get to come on this track next week in the Parklands trail run. This is cool. This would be much more fun than just jogging on all those bike paths. This is cool. So I'm sure somehow I'll find my way back. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this now. Not really sure what to make of this feature. Some kind of retaining wall. I get a feeling, just based on where I am, that this is probably going to connect up with the M7 cycleway. So let's take a jog up towards that tower, see if I'm right. I suspect I am. Noticed another couple of small paths coming off this, so I may head back on one of those. Again, let's just throw caution to the wind and see where we end up. Well, I thought the view had been good so far, but apparently another 700 meters, there's another lookout, Moonrise Lookout. All right, definitely gonna check this out. And the place where I just was must have been called the Knoll. Well, based on the signage, I'm now up on Sugarloaf Ridge. Look at that comms tower. So I'm somewhere close to the M7. I can hear the traffic in the distance. I'm not sure I'm gonna quite connect to it here. Alright, so just for point of reference, so I'm standing pretty much under that comms tower. It's 1.2 k's to the right to get back to the M7, so we are close, and there's a direct road to it, not even just a path. But I'm going to head left. I'm going to head probably to the north directionally, check out this Moonrise lookout, and maybe we'll see the Ginger Meg Memorial too. So let's see how we go. So back on the roads now, not just fire trail running, but actual road running. Yeah, so you've got all services here in the parklands. So this is Moonrise lookout. Oh yeah, I see the point. It's a been better view from Sydney up here. Alright, so if you want to come exploring up at Moonrise lookout, you definitely got a better view of Sydney. There's without a doubt a bit more elevation than the Knoll, but in saying that, it's not a great photo opportunity. You got power lines straight through the middle of your shot, so I reckon I'd choose the Knoll if I had to. But yeah, I think that little bit of elevation, I can certainly see the profile of the city better from up here. There's the Harbour Bridge again to the left of it, but yeah, if you're going to come out here, head to the Knoll. That's your best view. So just for a Moonrise loop coming down, I think it's called Sugar Rise Loop or something like that. It's all just road really, pretty easy to go on. Okay, so I've just taken a detour off the Moonrise Loop, and I saw a sign that said to the Ginger Meg's Memorial, so we'll go check that out. But it's also a chance to run a little bit of trail too, so let me turn this camera around and give you a look. There we go, so just like single sort of fire trail, nothing technical whatsoever, but it's nice. One thing I do appreciate here at spring, but there's some a lot of tree cover here, so it's nice and cool. I can imagine in summer a lot of these tracks would just probably be way too hot to enjoy unless you're out here sort of first thing or last thing in the day. Well, I'm guessing this little stone outcrop of stones, this must be the Ginger Meg's Memorial. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. There's a lot of nice spaces in this parkland. Lots of good places to check, just take in nature, rest, stop. So let's have a look. All right, so it's a circle of stones that have all been laid out on kind of the end of a ridge really. And here we've got a little bit of memorial signage. Let's see what this is about. So Ginger Meg's. All right, straight off I'm seeing a dog. So I'm not thinking the classic Australian story. So 1932, Harry Davis, his Kelpie dog Ginger Meg's and a stockman were droving a flock of sheep from Abbotsbury at Bosley Park to Flemington sales yards. At Auburn, a truck ploughed into the flock, killing many sheep and shattering Harry's leg. The truck didn't stop. The drover, leading the floor, stayed with the injured man. So the really cool part of this story, just reading the rest of the sign, is that after the accident, sheep have kind of taken off everywhere, and then the dog, Ginger Meg, has rounded up the sheep and actually taken them to the market himself under no guidance and become a bit of a local legend. So it's a really cool story. Shows how incredibly smart sheep dogs are. And yeah, it goes on to say that Ginger Meg passed away in 1940. He died of old age, and he's buried at a place called Devil's Back, which is a large hill in Abbotsbury, which is not too far away. So it's a cool little story. All right, let's continue on. Just come out of the bush and back on the Moonrise Loop. Nice big steep descent and then a climb afterwards by the look of it. Okay, that has to be the equestrian centre over to the left. So if you're driving on the M7, that's the signage you're going to see to mark out this area is for the equestrian centre, which, if you know your Sydney history well, is made its name during the Sydney Olympics back in 2000. So this was one of the Olympic venues. So there's a better look at the equestrian centre, or part thereof. So some of the jumps down here at the back near the fence line. Yeah, I don't know how often it gets used. It looks pretty well maintained. So it still gets a lot of work, and that's very cool. but it still exists here for the people who want to enjoy it. Just looking over the fence of the equestrian centre, I'm like, is that supposed to be an opera house? I don't know. I have no idea what that feature is, but that's the only thing I can think of. Certainly reminds me of one. Yeah, fascinating. Throw a comment if you know what it is or if you know its history, because I'm actually curious to know. Looks like some kind of canal off to the right. So there is a bit of water down here in the low points, but the trail sections have been on amazingly dry, which is quite surprising. So it's been a good run. So yeah, this is quite a substantial canal actually. Looks like it heads over to that industrial area just down there, which must be somewhere near the intersection of, like, I think it's Cow Pasture Road and the Horsley Drive. But yeah, right now, if not for that, yeah, might as well be in the middle of nowhere. It's great. It's awesome parkland. Whoa, that is a big one. Huge. Well, this has been a really enjoyable morning out at Western Sydney Parklands. I've done about 10 Ks and I'll have a few more to go, but I can see I'm actually heading on an exit point out of here and back onto some main roads. So I'll use that as a meander back to where I parked. And it's gonna be a lot of fun next week. So I've probably barely touched the trails we're gonna use on the run next week in the Parklands trail run. But you know, it's been a great fun, great adventure, and definitely worth checking this place out. It's really good. All right, take care, adventurers.